Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. If you are new to the channel, please be sure to hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure that you're not missing any of the content that we have coming out. And today, we are diving into the King in Black. Now, the King in Black follows Knull, the symbiote god, invading Earth. And he appears to be looking for Eddie Brock. Now, we did cover the prequel coming into King in Black. So if you guys haven't yet, check that out. I'll leave a link in the description and in the playlist so you guys can get completely caught up on it. Now, if you're returning to this channel, you'll know I usually post my videos relatively early in the morning, but I had a power outage last night and my internet is still super finicky. So for those of you waiting for X Factor, those of you for waiting for Hellions, and the continuation of King in Black, which is Atlantis Attacks and the Union, I will be covering those issues later this evening, hopefully having them uploaded for you guys to check out. But as it stands right now, this issue, the King in Black, is the only one I can get uploaded right now. But I promise you guys, just stick with me. I'll have it uploaded by the end of the day. But for now, let's dive into this issue. So honestly, I have to say, King in Black is really freaking awesome. I was a little hesitant going into this. I'm not a huge symbiote person when it comes to Marvel Comics. You know, I obviously, I know who Eddie Brock is, I know who Venom is, I know who Carnage is. I understand a good amount of the symbiote lore, but it's just never been a comic I personally have followed consecutively for over the years. But diving into this issue, we have Eddie Brock standing on top of a building, and he's talking to Captain America, and pretty much they're just confirming between the two that it's time, that he's closing in. Knull, the Lord of the Abyss, the god of the symbiotes, has arrived on Earth, and the call goes out. Avengers assemble from all over. All hands are on deck, and if the plan holds, the evacuation starts momentarily. And Venom can already feel the panic rising in the air. And Venom tries to relax Eddie Brock here. But Eddie Brock is really scared. And he's not scared of Knull or anything that's to come. He's scared for his son. He's scared for Dylan Brock. You know, this was Eddie Brock's darkness to inherit. And essentially, you know, his son is feeling the repercussions and the consequences of his father. And this eats away at Eddie Brock in such a way that it's almost tear-jerking. And so he wakes his son up and tells that it's time to go. And this is where we pick up on Avenger Mountain. And we have She-Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, and Captain Marvel. And we really have Captain America trying to organize and get everybody prepared as possible for Knull's arrival. Now, Tony being Tony Stark, he realizes that there's a Kree and Skrull armada left just orbiting Earth right now. And so his thoughts are, I can make a bomb out of that. And before he can even finish this thought, we see the dragon symbionts almost covering the sky, making it black. And these symbiotes crash into the armadas one by one. And this is where Tony takes his opportunity, and he explodes all of the warships. And Tony thinks that this is enough. He thinks that, you know, heck yeah, like we took out all the dragons, but really, he only just did a small portion of damage. It didn't work. Took out at least a few hundred of them, but it didn't even slow them down. Not even a little bit. And he's still coming. Now, picking up with Eddie Brock and his son, they're headed to a nuclear holocaust bunker. One that Peter Parker said Ezekiel had told him about. Hopefully, it can withstand what's to come. Hopefully, it can protect Dylan. But Dylan really wants to help, because Dylan has powers. He has powers like Knull, and maybe, just maybe, he could have the ability to take over and control the hive, control the horde. But obviously, Eddie's not having this. He's just like, I made you a promise, I'm going to keep you safe. Now get in the bunker and stay safe. You deserve to have a good life, not to deal with the things that I've passed down to you. And so Eddie closes the door, and this is when he talks to Cap, and Cap tells him, Plan B. Now, Plan B is when everything has just gone sideways. It means Knull and his armies have arrived. They've broken the perimeter of Earth and have made landfall. And the first wave is ground. Captain America assembled pretty much an evacuation team of street-level heroes with a focus on electric based powers. Because we don't know much about them, but we do know that Knull's only weakness is lightning, cosmic power, and maybe, possibly magic. And everybody's waiting on the arrival of Thor, but he is not to be seen. But there's another big gun that's coming in, and he's entering the orbit as they speak. And so they're really seeming like they're just outnumbered here. They're just getting rung really hard. And this is when we see or hear from an unexpected individual. This is when we hear from Charles Xavier. That's right. The X-Men are on the scene. And with the absence of Thor, who better to fill those shoes than Storm, their own goddess of the weather? And so we see the X-Men just laying waste to symbiotes. Now, while all of this is taking place, Eddie Brock has headed to this location where Carnage had once started his assault on New York. It's how he was able to control his horde. And with any luck, Venom is hoping that he can use this to be able to create his own army, or pretty much to make his own army. Now there's two options here. Either this works or they get found out. But regardless, either way, time's up. And so they start. And while this is happening, Doctor Strange and Storm are both getting just overrun at this point, and they can't hold off much longer. And Venom is just trying to get this control to make his own horde army. And this is when Eddie sees something that makes him terrified and tells everybody to just run. Because the first enemy of Knull was the Celestials. And so we've seen dragons, we've seen what Knull can bring upon them, but we have not seen is the symbiote Celestials as they descend upon Earth. And this is when Knull arrives and lets everybody know, I'm here to kill Earth, but in the meantime, I'm looking for a human named Brock, so bring him to me. And this can be painless and quick versus how it is currently going. And this is where Captain America calls a retreat. And Knull drops down to our heroes and asks who they all are. And this is when Tony patches into Captain America and lets him know that the big gun is headed in 10 seconds. And so Cap tells Knull, like, yeah, normally we're the guys that you will last ever see. But today, we're just here to watch. And this is when we see the introduction of Sentry. And Sentry comes in and just blows through the head of some of these Celestials. And so him and Knull get entangled and they're going at it. And Sentry really thinks he has the upper hand here, but he finds out real fast how powerful Knull is. And just like that, Sentry is taken out. And Knull stands like this. This is what you guys have. This is the strongest you can hold up against me. Like, this is pathetic. If this is the best you got, this is over already. And with that, the entire ground is pretty much symbiote at this point, and it's just grabbing everybody, sucking it in. And slowly but surely, the entire Earth is starting to be covered in symbiotes, blacking out the sun completely. No more light. And so as the world slowly turns into darkness, as Storm holds her last stand here, Eddie Brock does the only thing that he knows will stop Knull. We're gonna give him what he wants, because he's been looking for Brock. And so Venom reaches out, calls directly to Knull, and in an instant, Knull has been smashing through the wall, grabs Eddie Brock up. And with Eddie Brock now in the control and at the whim of Knull, Eddie begs him to just take him and leave everything else. And this is when Knull says, you know what, wait, like, I know you. You're the host who had beat my dragon. I thought I had killed you. And this is where he says, I apologize, but I have a bit of confusion. He says, I should have specified which Brock. And this is where Eddie loses it, and he's just like, no, like, leave my son alone, take me. I'm the one you want. And he's pretty much like, no, you're not. And he rips Venom straight from Eddie Brock and just drops him. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Honestly, the artwork was absolutely phenomenal. It was on freaking point. I loved it. You could see the emotion in Eddie Brock's face when he's talking to his son. Right before he goes to wake him up. You can really feel it. And then we have the arrival of the X-Men, which was just absolutely phenomenal. I really wasn't expecting it, at least to that scale. But it was really awesome seeing all of our X-Men just show up and start wrecking havoc. I'm really excited to see Dylan and his powers manifest and how that's all going to play its part. It really is seeming like Dylan's going to be the savior in this aspect. But you never know. Things can change. Marvel might try to switch it up a little bit. Who knows? But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you have not yet, please be sure to hit that sub button, like this video, and until the next issue,